So, there seems to be a lot of uproar about the recent activity of Candace Owens. I recorded a podcast about a week or so ago referencing an interview that I saw, which was one of the first full speaking engagements of hers that I actually sat and listened to. And I gave my thoughts on that. And, it is what it is. I don't back down from any of that. I don't think that I was unfair in any way, pro or con. I think I just gave my opinion to the things that she said. And people aren't in response to me. I think people are in response to the outlets that are choosing to give Miss Owens a platform to actually speak, because of the perceived point of view, or the evaluation of her point of view, and why would you allow her with that point of view or that perceived thought process why would you give her a platform to express that she's not for us, and these are platforms that believed or are believed to be voices for our community. And when I say our community, I'm talking about African Americans. And I'm seeing a lot of things on social media, a lot of things in the regular media that are continuing this weird trend of just, I don't want to say they're not taking facts, but there's a weird, a manipulation of facts to support a personal perspective or a narrative. And it's weird that you accuse someone of that when your way of showing that this person is less credible is doing the same thing that she's doing, or that you accuse her of doing, which is kind of weird to me. I don't want to say a free thinker, but I allow myself the opportunity to hear perspectives from many different sides and then make my decision based off of what I feel, and try not to necessarily take the position of another person. If I agree, I want it to be on the merits of my evaluation of the situation, and not, oh, this person said this, so I'm just going to blindly believe it. But this conversation that I'm having is more to, and I don't want to disrespect the people that are in the comments, are just regular people. And actually, some of them may be super intelligent scholars, and their platform and they kind of are just chiming in, or they're providing their perspective within the context and the comments of another person's post. So I don't want to belittle their opinion or make it seem like it's meaningless. But my question is this: at the end of the day, whether you believe that Candace Owens is for the betterment of Black people, if you think that, her recent situations are indicative of someone who's for the struggle, quote unquote. And I'm not saying quote unquote to say that there's not a struggle, but just the colloquialism, just to give context and say, okay, I'm I'm acknowledging that that's a general thought process. That's a general term that has a lot of different facets. None of these things are actually offering a solution. And this is my problem, right? My problem is I feel like in these scenarios, it's a gathering of people who want to discredit and prove their correctness, to show that their perspective on whatever is out there is correct, right? So they're talking, in this instance, they're talking about Candace Owens and the things that she's saying and trying to successfully or unsuccessfully prove that she's not for us, right? And they're quoting these obscure or not obscure statistics, and they're using them to, in their eyes, show that her arguments or the things that she's saying are without merit, or she's using old numbers, or where is she getting these statistics from? And I just want to speak my truth and what I believe about all of these, including her, all of these ways of proving or disproving any type of theory. Numbers, analytics, statistics are there to be manipulated. We know this. There was a big movement about the census and how the census is performed and how the numbers from that census are manipulated to paint a picture to either withhold or withhold assistance or show a certain level of any entity to influence, help, lack of help, assistance, whatever the prevailing wind is. We know that statistics can be manipulated and gathered and presented in a way to prove anyone's point. So the same way that you can debunk Candace Owens' statistics and the point that she's trying to make because you don't believe her statistics or you believe her statistics are old, is the same way that if someone doesn't have faith in the statistics that you're providing, they don't have to believe what you say either. Right? Like trying to prove a theory with a theory doesn't make either one more or less correct. It's all about what you believe in. Everything is faith-based. Everything is based off what you believe, whether it's religion, whether it's science. There are no absolutes because no one is a supreme being. And we all know what you see is not necessarily what you get. So because we understand that in the field of science, that there are no absolutes, that laws are there until they're disproven. We label things based on our best guess or our best estimation, but we don't know because we didn't create those forces. All of these debates that people have about the world that we live in are simply that, just debates based off of theories of people who are trying to solidify themselves as experts in a field when all you are is an expert observer. You're an expert labeler. You don't know because you didn't create it. So therefore, you're a spectator, just like the rest of us. You can analyze, but you can only analyze based off of what we have and our technology in this moment of time. That's why there are advances in science. That's why there are people who, once they become awakened to things outside of our understanding, are able to give new theories and new estimations on how things became the way they were. That's the basis of science. It's continuous disproving and proving. It's actually discovery. It's not even proving. It's the ego that makes you feel like you need to own and be the definitive expert on a certain thing. You did not create that thing, so how can you be the expert on it? All you're doing is observing, taking measurements, and recording shit and making theories. So these conversations where people are saying, oh, you know, these statistics are from 2016, and listen, it is what it is. You know, and in these same debates, these same people on a different note, when you're not talking about her, are saying some of the same things that she's saying. When we say the black family is under attack, when we say that there's a systemic racism and white supremacy in the United States, why is it valid when this person says it versus this person? Because you don't like you don't like this person's politics, so everything that they say, it has to be untrue? Or the reason that they came to this conclusion makes their point invalid because you don't agree with their politics or their perspective? It seems like a bunch of phony, dumb shit, and it doesn't help. How about this? How about you provide a solution? How about we understand what the problem is, and then you provide a solution? If you don't have a solution, why are we fighting about what the problem is? I hear these, activists, and there's nothing wrong with being an activist, because we need people to advocate for us, to help us understand what's going on and to strategize a way to put ourselves in a better position. But sometimes I want to ask the question, like, especially when I'm seeing these things, do we believe that there is good and evil? Do we believe that there are sinister forces at work trying to suppress us as African Americans or as Africans in this country? It doesn't have to be, it's not a conspiracy if it's true. And I just don't understand why it's any less true coming from the mouth of someone that you don't necessarily agree with their politics. But the same thing can come from someone who we champion and they got it all together. So all these people in the comments that are swelling to say how, Candace she's not black. How is she going to come to us now and act like she's these things? And, she's full of shit and she said all of this other. Okay, that's fine. Let's give honor and credence to those things, right? Okay. A specific point that was made or that was argued was the comment about the absence of black fathers in the home being a major contributing factor to dysfunction in the home, right? And the statistic that was given was saying that black father engagement or black father's involvement in the home was super low, right? And then a person in the comments said, oh, that's an old statistic from 2016. Right now, the most newest statistic says that black fathers are the most involved fathers in their kids' lives compared to, these different ethnicity groups, right? Okay, so this is how numbers can be manipulated. What does that number have to do with the amount of involvement that black fathers are having in reference to black households, not compared to any other black house, not compared to any other households, just compared to black households. Comparing me to a white family or a Asian family or a Hispanic family and saying that we, out of these different groups, the fathers are the most involved, still doesn't say that the percentage that we are involved within our community is high as it needs to be to affect real change. Those are two totally separate conversations, two totally separate set of numbers. The comparison, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous that this is what we're using. Like, you're using the same technique that you are using to invalidate her points. And when I say her, I mean Candace Owens or anyone else. That you don't respect them and their politics. Like, if you have a reformed criminal, someone who was in the street taking advantage of our community, who wants to be an activist and is now actively trying to help the community, right? What is the difference between that person and someone who we say has not been for black people in the political and media space, turning around and changing her views and trying to be something positive for our community? Does either one deserve less grace? Are we a champion and a fan of the person who's a criminal because they're solid, and because we think that Candace Owens is not solid? I don't give a shit who it comes from. I just need it. We need the solution. We need the answer. And we need more people to actually join in, believe that's the answer. Let's buy into the strategy and actually create a movement versus, yo, I gotta be the right one. No, I'm the right one. No, I'm the right one. You don't know shit. Where'd you get your numbers from? Where did any of y'all get y'all numbers from? Universities, all types of different universities do. There is no unilateral, monolithic, one set of statistics or one gatherer of statistics that is the all-knowing, all-seeing, no one else referenced is worthy of mention, and their technique and their display of those statistics and that analytics are superior to everyone else's. It's all about what you believe. It's all about what you have faith in. So we need to stop and actually give an answer. Provide a solution. So if she says that there are sinister forces in Hollywood, and you say, no, they're not, she's full of shit. But yet you have all these black celebrities that are coming out saying they've experienced demonic things within the entertainment industry, Hollywood and music. So we have sympathy for Terry Crews. We see what happened to Michael Jackson. We see what happened to Prince. We weep for those things, and we say that it's funny business going on. But when Candace Owens says that there's the media and that Hollywood doesn't like black people, she's fucking crazy. Get the fuck out of here. I'm tired of us having a problem with who's saying the truth instead of actually embracing what the truth is and coming up with a solution with regards to that truth. We're wasting fucking time. And sorry, I'm not sorry for cursing, because this shit is pissing me off. It's all that's coming across my fucking timeline. Like, I'm seeing this shit and I want to see it. I want to hear it. But at the same time, it's like you're looking to these people who you think are going to actually provide a little bit of guidance and a little bit of insight because it's their job. And I work in the medical field every day. So I'm not there Googling statistics, trying to determine the validity of who's gathering the statistics so I can formulate an opinion. Different people do different things, just like that person is not reading medical text and learning how to do CT and MRI. There's no shade in having a specialty and looking to someone else who's an expert in their opinion and in that field for guidance. That's what we're supposed to do. That's what smart people do, that you don't do everything. I'm just sick of a bunch of, like, we just here tearing at each other. No one is offering a solution, or if they are, it's met with such, I don't even want to say resistance. It's I sometimes work in an industry where it's less about the idea and more about who presents the idea. 20 people could say the same thing, but if the one person that they want to hear it from doesn't say it, it's not valid. We're more concerned with the credit than the actual solution. We're more concerned with who gets their name on the fucking statue or the trophy or the fucking star or in the book that's published as being the one who came up with the solution than the actual solution. People will literally, discredit someone for saying something that they've actually said themselves, just because they weren't the ones who said it. And it's ignorant. And as a part of the Black community, my opinion is, until we don't do that, we're going to be sitting here arguing amongst ourselves until we don't have a chance in hell to liberate ourselves. I could give my opinion. I could give my thought process on what I believe the actual solution is, but it may be a little bit too radical because I don't, people feel threatened by those type of thought processes. But to be honest, if you look throughout history, when has a regime of any type, of any power structure, ever been legislated out of power? I will wait. This country that we're in even had a civil war. So, as we are not in a position or in a mindset to actually fight the way that most groups throughout history fought for their freedom, this is what we're relegated to. And it's pretty simple. It's pretty simple how you hypnotize or how you manipulate the priorities of a group and pacify them into where we're at. You dole them out enough privilege to where they're able to acquire a life that they're afraid of losing, and they'll never risk what they've gained. They'll cry about it, they'll complain about it, but they won't risk losing it in a fight, because in their eyes, they've worked too hard to get where they're at, to give it up for the possibility of losing a fight for their actual freedom. There are countries that were ready to go to war with the government. That's how this country gained independence, is they went to war with the government. Are black people ready to go to war with the government? All of this that we're seeing outside, all of these things that we're talking about, let's be real. Let's keep it a buck in here. All these things that we're talking about, nobody is ready to lose their life for freedom. They're ready to fight conveniently. We complain about crooked politicians, fixed elections, but we still think that we can vote our freedom into existence, that we can march and be on a picket line with some, we not even ready to take our money somewhere. It's not even like we have the power to do that. Or let's even say that we don't even have the palate to do that. Because doing that means that you have to do without the luxuries that you've come to use as touchstones and motivation for the work that you've put in. Like, why would you work all this hard and not have the finer things in life? Even if the finer things are financing and they're landmarks to the oppression that you're actually experiencing. Who's willing to sacrifice? How many of these people that are having these conversations are homeschooling their kids, keeping them out of the system and teaching them the truths that they want everybody else to accept? Training their children, if you really want to control your neighborhood, training your children to be politicians, to get in office so we actually have real control locally over our neighborhoods. See, other ethnic groups, when they come into this country, they understand that if this is the part of town where Italians are at, then you want an Italian who shares your interests in office to protect your interests. We don't think that way. But we complain about the people that are in office not having our best interests in mind. Come on, man. I'm tired of hearing the bullshit. I hear a person talk about Pan-Africanism. Okay, that's fine. Let's say that that's the answer. Okay, so we all unite in America. Then what? Do you think that in this country, in this society, in this economy, that they will ever allow any entity of black descent to have the amount of power that's necessary to influence government the way that these entities are using government to influence policy to their benefit? Do you think that they will ever let an African American gather that much wealth and have that much power? They killed Michael Jackson, and all he did was own the Beatles catalog. Tried to buy Sony, the things that he was doing behind the scenes business-wise, a lot of people feel like those are the reasons why he was killed. Those are the reasons why his name was smeared. So, I mean, that's just within entertainment, which is a huge entity. I mean, there's a lot of social programming that goes on through entertainment. But we're talking about, do you ever think there's going to be a black Jeff Bezos? A black Bill Gates? And if there is, are they actually going to put them in a room and let them influence government? Is there a black person in Big Pharma that they're going to listen to and allow him to have an agenda that's going to be outside of the status quo, which, to be honest, is the survival of non-melanated people? Like, to be honest, like, I don't know, like this thing that we're experiencing, it's not, these concepts are not difficult. And of course, someone's going to listen to this and say, oh, you're conspiracy and you can't. Listen, the greatest trick the devil ever proved was convincing people he didn't exist. And all I'm saying is, you can't complain about evil existing and having this influence, and then when someone actually speaks on the evil, you're saying, no, not that evil. Evil doesn't look like that. It looks like this. Or you're not supposed to say it because we don't believe in you as a person. We need to hear about the evil that you're talking about from someone else because it's more... who gives a shit? Really? Who cares? Is it real or is it not? And once you establish that it's real, how do we fight it? Or if you choose not to, be on that side too. But don't be phony. Don't be fake. Don't discredit everybody else because you actually don't care whether it's going on. All you care about is getting yours. Some people are too tired and too old to fight. Some people are too fat and too satisfied to fight. Some people enjoy the Matrix. These things that we're seeing, they're symbolic of what's happening in real life. Some people are fat and happy and fine living an alternate false reality. And some people are tormented by the realness that they know. It's the people that are in the middle who don't actually want to take a side, who just actually want to be right about what they're reporting, are the people that are getting on my damn nerves right now. I'll probably never be on any one of their platforms because I don't know if I have enough political correctness or enough actual clout or star power or followers or whatever the fuck for someone to actually listen to something that I said. Because I feel like if I got into those situations, it's easy to shut me down. We'll have an argument, we'll have a discourse, not even an argument, you'll have a discourse back and forth, and then as soon as I say something or they're tired of trying to prove a point to me that I'm not going to listen to because what they're saying is just conjecture, it's just opinion. Their opinion is the same as the opinion of the person that they're trying to discredit. It doesn't make them any more credible, any more valid. And that's a bunch of people in our community, a bunch of people that we look to and listen to these things. And, you know, what they'll say is, you're not even important enough for people to listen to, so why are you even talking? If that's your position, then it makes perfect sense that things are happening the way they're happening because you don't care about a person's opinion unless you think they're important enough to have one. So, you know, let's continue to go to these outlets that actually, you know, promote our own thought process and champion things we feel, and we'll use those as ways to fortify our argument instead of reaching out and looking at the actual things that may challenge what we think and see if our shit actually holds water. You know, you learn by experiencing things outside of your own perspective. But what I see is the people who just want to be right. So much so that they'll discredit something that they actually have promoted because the person who's saying it, they don't agree with that person. And that is the definition of dumb shit. I'm sorry that, this, I know this may come across aggressive and I'm passionate and it's just the way it is, but I'm so tired of it. I want somebody to give a solution, offer a fucking solution, not another way to shit on Candace Owens because she's saying things and for however long you felt that she was against black people. If she's saying things for the betterment of black people, why do you have a fucking problem? Who cares? If she's saying something that you said, who cares? She has sinister thoughts, and that's why she's saying it, and your thoughts are pure, and that's why you said it. Fuck out of here, man. Dead ass. And I'm sorry. That line of thinking is bullshit. And that's just really how I feel about it. Like, I believe in laying out facts or laying out truths, and then everyone has the ability to use their critical thinking skills and formulate an opinion that works for them. You choose what you believe in. Period. And that's what I'll continue to do. See you next time.